Hello, Spirit Bus fam. Episode number 16. Thank you so much for being here. Just taking that moment, gratitude, and appreciate you being here in this space. It's so healing for me, and I hope that there's something in episode 16 for you. And I'd like to give a shout out to the person that's requested the topic for today. And I hope that it is helpful. And that was a great energy exchange getting the request for the topic. That's also for the listeners a reminder that you can message me or leave a comment or whatever you feel aligned with if there is something that you would like for me to record about. Okay, so just kind of get started here, settle in. Hope that you are in a comfortable space. So, for those of us on this healing journey, you may have experienced a pocket of time or some days or whatever the case might be that you were alone in your own energy and you felt aligned and focused and you're just kind of flowing through life with minimal snags. And then, bum, 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 enters other people. Of course, like some of them are pleasant and add to your life and you get to play and have a great time with them. But then there's like some that literally snag like the ever loving shit out of you. And just that real nervous system activation. And so the part of this journey doesn't mean that you have to close the door. Doesn't mean you walk away. You got to set some strict boundaries. Is this an opportunity to heal? So this part of the healing journey, in my opinion, is extremely sacred. Is you're going to have people around you, friends, if whoever you're working with, is they're going to have opinions on what you should do about a certain person. And what I would like to do is invite you to cultivate a relationship with your intuition, your internal guidance system for this. Connecting with your belief system and all of the things that helps you make decisions and that keeps you in alignment. It's the time that you have to really reflect on who's in your life, why are they in your life, and if there is uncomfortability, how are you contributing to it? And a side note before we go any further is I'm not condoning like staying in toxic relationships here. Like that's not what this episode's about. If there is some violence going on or, something like that's not what we're talking here about. I want to just take this time to read this quote from Ram Dass. When you go out into the woods and you look at trees, you see all these different trees. Some of them are bent, some straight, some of them are evergreens, and some of them are whatever. And you look at the tree and you allow it. You see why it is the way it is. You sort of understand that it didn't get enough light, and so it turned that way. And you don't get all emotional about it. You just allow it. You appreciate the tree. The minute you get near humans, you lose all of that. And you're constantly saying you're to this or I'm to this. That judging mind comes in. And so I practice turning people into trees, which means appreciating them just the way they are. So now I invite you to grab your journal or whatever you use to take action steps in your healing journey. If you can take it in and memorize it and go for it. But for a lot of us, we need to write down and reflect to be able, to really solidify those action steps. And so the prompt would be, what does your tree look like? Did you have like some nutrient dense soil? Like, how is your tree kind of bent to the left or curled up over there? Is there changes that you need to make to your tree? Just kind of using that as a visualization. And then when stepping into interacting with others is to try to use the visualization of the trees in that interaction. And during interactions with others, a lot of mindfulness is needed. A lot of observation of yourself is what's happening when your nervous system activates. Like getting really curious. Cause really blame isn't really going to get you anywhere but just going in circles with somebody. But observing and reflecting is going to help you align with yourself to then make decisions about who you're going to let into your energy field and who you have to walk away from. And then, of course, as we're really like embarking on the healing journey, we start to notice patterns within ourselves. Do you keep attracting like the same person in different versions? Are your romantic partners a reflection of your parents? Again, you can have many people give you reasons why this is. It can be really helpful to, explore different theories, approaches, belief systems about why we attract certain people into our life. And they can assist with like help, to help develop your own truth. But my opinion, and just remember, this is just my truth, is that be careful of adopting any rigid belief system as to why these relationships are present. Because we can have one person share a belief system with us, or we can read research or whatever it might be, and we can get stuck in that belief system. And then we can get kind of blocked into taking in any information that might contradict it. Basically, it's observing the possibilities, but mainly observing yourself. If you want to be free from ancestral trauma, generational trauma, conflict with others, is like we have to look how we perpetuate it. Is it staying, in relationships that do not align with our frequency? Is it because we run from conflict and we're not doing the work that we need? So we attract the same similar situation over and over again. And this might be helpful to work with somebody so that they can hold space for you to embark on this journey. Someone that can help you like tune into your own intuitive process, who will offer, some feedback on, potential different theories or approaches to this, but that's really just going to have you hold space to make your own decisions. Jewel Kim's from that self-love deck that I've talked about before says, I listen to the wisdom of my body. There's such a great need to understand yourself on a deep level here. Mind, body, belief system. Knowing yourself is going to help you slow down, become more present, especially around other people. Recognize when your body activates. know what you need to do when it does. But you're going to get so good at knowing the first sign of activation and then being able to get really curious, knowing how to communicate, understanding, what is yours to work on, what might be the other person's, what you need to do with that. I'm going to quote Elizabeth Gilbert again. Big Magic. I only got one page in since the last episode or the last podcast episode. But she says, at some point in your creative journey, you will have to make a decision about which camp you belong to, and therefore which parts of yourself to nourish, cultivate, and bring into being. So, this is your journey, Spirit Bus fam. You get to choose your own earth experience and who is around you. And so, taking bits and pieces of what you learn from other people, but really cultivating your own internal guidance system. If your nervous system is constantly activating around a person, this may be an indication, perhaps that there's some work to do. Maybe it's your tree. Maybe it's something on your end. And if not, yes, maybe there's a boundary that needs to be set. Maybe you are attracting someone like the trauma that you've experienced in your life. But in order to understand this, is there has to be work done on yourself at a really deep level. Really getting raw and dirty with yourself. Really watching those reactions to other people around you. It's such, again, a sacred journey. Very important for us to all go on, of course, because unless we want to just avoid people for the whole earth experience, this is going to come up. And so again, I invite you to perhaps, reach out to work with someone or continue to do research, on the own possibilities and dive into some action steps for your healing. But again, relationships with others is very complex. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to draw a card. For today is the 8th. So let's draw. Oh, wait, shoot. I got to cut the deck 3 times here. Okay, we're going to do 3 cards. Perfect. Projections. Going with the flow and friendliness. All incredibly perfect. It was actually just like a moment ago thinking like, oh, I should probably like restart this, but the cards are so perfect that I'm just going to have to post this as is. So projections, we are all projecting our shit. Just plain and simple. We all are, because our reality is completely different than anyone else's. And so at any moment when we're interpreting something, like we are at a level projecting, and we like to say, oh, I understand you. I understand where you're coming from. Really, the honest truth is we can't. You really can't understand a person completely. You can resonate and you can try, but your reality is different than their reality. So understanding that we are constantly projecting, and this is that part of getting really good and observing yourself, is that there's a lot of points where the work that needs to be done is on your plate and not on the other person's plate. Now, obviously, again, we're not talking about, extreme toxic relationships here. As I'm talking about conflict within interpersonal, relationships, that is a typical conflict, for those of us that have had a bumpy road, which I haven't met anyone yet that hasn't, by the way, you know. So then going with the flow. Great, like paired card for the projections is that often if we just let it ride, let's just say that we witness a snag, in ourselves. And if we just let it ride, observe it, oh, interesting. I'm going to have to do some reflection on that. And instead of like swimming in the opposite direction against the current, being pissed off, is we just like observe it, understand it. And then if we need to have a conversation with the person at a later time, or maybe even in that same conversation, but we're very calm while we're having it so that emotional reactions don't flare and then miss the whole point of what you're talking about anyway, is we can really be in that flow with one another. And the last card has 2 trees on it, friendliness. If we can look at each other, like Ram Dass says, like the trees, we're all different. We all show up in weird fucking ways to get our needs met. And if we can see those differences with a vision full of love, then we're able to make more sound decisions. And I'm not leaning into that. This means that you just go around and love everyone and your door is wide open and, you're just seeing the best in everyone and you're ignoring the toxicity. No. Because there are some people that you're going to have to put boundaries up with, that you're going to have to say goodbye to in your life. They can't journey on with you. Your frequencies don't match. You've done everything that you can on your end. You've done the work on your end and the journey's over. And some people are going to feel that way about you too. But in the meantime, while we're sorting that out, is that we can have, this energy where we're showing up in love. And sometimes we have to see people anyway, is that sometimes it's not always so cut and dry that we can just set up a boundary and this person's not in our life. Some of these are family members that, because of family events or I don't know, all sorts of different types of relationships, is that we have to have contact with them. And so then we know what our capacity is. We know how long, we know what we need to do before the interactions. Again, it's because we are looking inward and doing the work to then be able to stand clear, grounded, centered, so that we can really do that observation. So, really great cards, perfect for this. And again, wasn't expecting to record today. I was going to do it later in the week, but felt compelled to do so. And so a little bit of a shorter one today. I hope for whoever you are, I'm not disclosing names on here, that requested this. I hope that it helps a little bit. And again, it's not such an easy topic because the decision has to come from you on who you want in your life and who you don't. And you have to be aligned with it. Because sometimes we close doors and we can't open them again. We don't get to open them again. And sometimes that's needed. So again, just a very personalized experience here. All right, Spirit Bus fam. Again, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. And I'm not sure what's going to happen the rest of the week. I don't know if there'll be another one or not. Just kind of letting it come to me as it does and trying not to put any pressure on this. But take good care of yourselves.